It's no surprise that the world has turned incredibly gay and low testosterone and soy. And recently I was watching the Ozarks and I was really enjoying the show. I had never watched it before. And all of a sudden there's an FBI agent sucking the dick of some random fucking redneck in the Ozarks. And it got me thinking, I'm like, dog, this is a show about selling drugs in the Ozarks. Why do I have to watch another guy suck another guy's dick? And it really got me thinking because as someone that is straight, that doesn't like watching men have sex with other men, it got me thinking. I go, is this even like good for business? Is adding woke stuff good for business? Does it make you more successful? Does it garner more views? Does it make you more money? So in today's video, we are going to be as objective as possible and really analyze TV shows, movies, and video games that are woke, and we are going to see the results of being woke. And again, I'm going to try to be as fair as humanly possible because while I am not a fan of all the woke stuff, I want to believe that there is a reason that people are throwing it into their movies and TV shows. There has to be some type of big brain 500 IQ play that they are making that makes sense to add this, because if not, why are they doing it? So some disclaimers for this video. Like I said, we're going to try to be as fair as possible. I want to define what I consider woke because I think woke has kind of morphed into everything liberal, which I don't necessarily agree with. You know, some people are saying Fallout is woke, which I haven't seen season 2 yet, but having a black character in the as a main character, having a female lead isn't something inherently woke. All right. Even having gay characters in your show isn't inherently woke. What I consider woke is having those characters in the show or in whatever media you are creating, and their entire personality is being gay or black or woke or whatever, right? Or trans or non-binary. So I think that woke is pushing a political agenda for no reason down your throat when the show or movie or whatever project that you are putting that character in or putting that plot line in has nothing really to do with that. So an example of a movie that I think is woke is actually Zootopia 2. Zootopia 2 is a movie that after watching it, my first reaction was, this is propaganda about immigration, talking about how America was built, or Zootopia is like a pseudo America. It was built on stolen land by evil people, and they framed the people that they stole the land from as bad people to profit off of it, and that immigration is good and snakes are considered like the immigrants, and they're like, oh, snakes are great people, we're nothing but peaceful, and the people that are, you know, the people that stole the land, they're the evil people. So Zootopia is objectively, like, you cannot watch that movie if you are over the age of 13 and see that movie as anything else than a parallel to what's going on right now. It feels to me like Zootopia 2 was there to push an agenda. So that is what we're going to talk about at first. The first topic we're going to talk about are movies that are considered woke that have been in the box office within the last couple years, and we're going to analyze how they did. So I'm going to start this section off by saying that I believe that movies actually do make a decent amount of money if they are woke, because some of the only movies that I can think of off the top of my head in the past couple of years that I believe are directly woke is Barbie and Zootopia 2. And Zootopia 2 earned about $1.7 billion gross worldwide. And then Barbie earned about $1.45 billion gross worldwide. That's very impressive, right? And then you also have movies that I believe are pretty woke, like the Star Wars movies, that did earn a lot of money in terms of like the box office. But I don't believe that Star Wars actually is better off for making all that money. So let me clarify by saying this. While Zootopia 2 and Barbie were smash hit successes, and they did earn a lot of money, and that probably will lead to future films making a lot of money. I believe that Star Wars, the entire series that was in charge of Kathleen Kennedy was in charge of, I believe that while those movies did make a lot of money, I believe that them being woke and terribly written basically made the franchise worse. So I think that if the movies made less money and they were better written, I think the franchise would actually be in a better spot than it is now and worth more overall in terms of its brand than the movies making the money that they did now, but being terrible. And here's something that I also want to clarify as well, is a lot of movies that are a lot of things that we're going to talk about today are woke, and they also have terrible writing. And that is a really hard thing to differentiate, because the things that we talk about, while they have terrible writing, they also have woke stuff in it. So what I found is a lot of the time they correlate almost directly. Is you get these forms of media that are so poorly written and they have woke stuff in it, and the people that put the woke stuff in it are so far gone from like living a normal world and living in reality that their interpretations of characters and a good story and an interesting plot are completely different than an average person in America, like what they want and what they enjoy. So a lot of times you're going to see that, and people might argue in the comments, this is a terrible plot. It didn't flop because it's woke. It flopped because it's a bad game. It has bad writing. But what I'm going to say is, while that's not exactly tied to being woke, you can have a non-woke game be terrible because of bad writing or bad graphics or bad gameplay or whatever, and it flops. But a lot of time you're going to find that when there's smoke, there's also fire. If there is smoke for a game being woke, that rhymes. If there is smoke for a game or a movie being woke, then there's also fire of like bad dialogue and bad writing. And a lot of time they kind of go hand in hand, where if something has really bad writing, a lot of times it's also woke, right? So it's really hard to differentiate. So keep in mind that this is not going to be a perfect video, and there's no real like direct way to actually get these stats perfect, but I'm just going to do my best and talk to you from as a normal person and as a normal point of view. So now let's talk about the TV shows that I believe are massive flops, but there's no real way to discuss their magnitude of flops because they are hidden behind the subscription-based platforms that don't ever really release their numbers. And if they do, a lot of times they botch it because they don't want their product to look bad. So we're going to talk about shows that I would assume flopped based on everyone that I've seen hating on the show. So that would be, a lot of them are going to be superhero movies. And like I said, they're going to have some bad writing on it, but a lot of times they have woke stuff in it. So please keep that in mind. But we have She-Hulk, The Marvels, Blue Beetle, Madam Web, Miss Marvel, Ironheart, The Acolyte, Velma, Lightyear, right? Well, Lightyear is actually a movie, but all of these TV shows, Stranger Things, all of these TV shows have had some woke, gay, or non-binary stuff in there. They have had political agendas in there. We'll give you a few examples. We're not going to go through everything, but Ironheart is a show basically about a woman superseding Iron Man, and she is basically like a better engineer than Iron Man ever was, than Tony Stark ever was. And it's like her story, and she's a female, strong female that can do, well, anything Tony Stark can do, but better. Flopped, right? She-Hulk. I mean, this is a show written by, I can't even believe a woman wrote this show. I'm pretty sure a woman wrote this show. It is so degrading to women to just have a main character that like twerks. She's like a lawyer in the show, and she's just like twerking and dancing around. Like it is so disrespectful to women. I believe that women should have much better representation in media. And you see like you see games and movies and TV shows that have really good representations for women, like Expedition 33, for example. Lune is a very well written character. Mael is a very well written character. CL, I don't really like CL, to be honest with you, but like, I mean, that you can't have them, you can't win them all, right? But you see these amazing characters in these other projects, and you see these characters for these women, and they're just fucking awful. Like, they don't really do any justice for women, and it really sucks. And that's part of bad writing, but it's also a lot of woke shit, like, you know, feminism propaganda and stuff like that. Stranger Things obviously is one of the most successful franchises for Netflix, a Netflix original, but no one can deny that Stranger Things has basically destroyed its reputation by how the series progressed. And it was a very controversial topic when Will, in the middle of the heat of the battle, is talking about, I like boys. I'm different. Like, bro, like, shut the fuck up, man. Like, it is so like Netflix to push this woke propaganda shit. And let's recap for the sake of this video. Every single show that I just named, and we're gonna recap it: She-Hulk, The Marvels, Blue Beetle, Madam Web, Miss Marvel, Ironheart, The Acolyte, Stranger Things, The Mandalorian. All of them have fucking flops or have had immense criticism on the direction of the show or just the overall premise of the show. And they have basically either been discontinued, disavowed, or a complete laughingstock. Starship Academy is another example of it. A terrible woke show that is just complete slop. And you see these shows over and over again. There's thousands of them on Netflix and on Disney Plus. They are the main offenders, right? And they all flop. And because the shows don't reveal the numbers for, you know, these titles, all you have to go off of is the criticism. And yes, we are in an echo chamber where, you know, we only see what we pretty much want to see. So me personally, I watch like Asmongold, Tectone, Legendary Drops, like people like that, right? WestJet. You know, shout out to all my guys, right? My girl fucking hates when I watch y'all's videos, bro. It's hilarious. But I watch these people, so obviously they are more like right-leaning people, right? They're gonna like eviscerate woke shit or gay shit or whatever. And you really have to go kind of outside your scope to see people talk about these shows. But a lot of time they are terribly received, and most people hate them, and they have a really bad score on like Metacritic, or you know, a lot of bad articles written about them, or a lot of bad YouTube videos written about them. But again, there's no real way of checking the numbers. But because the show gets discontinued, I would assume that it's not worth the squeeze. Halo, I'm sorry, I keep remembering new stuff, but Halo also flopped hard. The Halo TV show was awful, and a lot of the stuff was just woke, right? Like them trying to give more screen time to like female Spartans and like making them like more relatable, and it was just terrible. It was so fucking bad. But with that being said, let's go on to the most provable thing that we can talk about, which is video games. Video games are the #1 way for us to gauge if woke stuff is actually good for a product, because video games, all the numbers are readily available, and you can tell when a game flops because it'll have concurrent players on Steam drastically drop, it'll have very low sales, it'll have a very low launch, right? Even on things not on Steam, right? On the Xbox top 10 or something like that, right? You can get a very good estimate as to what woke stuff flops and how fast it does, and you know, if the game even made any money or not. Starfield, Dragon Age the Veilguard, Redfall, Concord, Forspoken, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Avowed, Saints Row, Immortals of Avion, did I say Concord? Concord. And now, most recently, we have High Guard, right? So those are 10 to 11 games that I would consider pretty woke or something along those lines, right? And a lot of times you can tell by what they are doing with the IP. So I'll just give you a couple examples, right? So in Dragon Age, the Fail Guard is what a lot of people call it. They have the what is that? What is that bitch's name? Tekken or whatever her name is. The non-binary person, and they make it a point to just tell you that she's non-binary. Crazy, I know. Then we have Concord. All the characters look like they just crawled out of a fucking Pringles can and dusted Cheetos off of them and are fighting in some fucking weird arena and then are like huffing and puffing. Like, it's just, they look fucking terrible. If you have a bunch of androgynous characters in your game and no one knows what gender they are, or they're a bunch of like fat, ugly, disgusting looking retards, you know for a fact that that game is woke, right? Then we have Avowed. Avowed was talking about, oh, go woke, go broke, and I'm pretty sure they went broke, because I'm gonna show, and then Forspoken 2. I'm gonna show you guys a chart based on based on the information that I have been able to research. This is what the games have costed to make in development, and this is what they made after they released. And as you can see, none of those games made any money except for Starfield, and we don't really even think Starfield's a good game. We think Starfield's like a 6 or 7 out of 10, right? So it gets you thinking, after everything I just said in this video, we talked about how movies, for the most part, do pretty decent in the box office. However, a lot of movies, because of bad writing, or I guess mainly just for Star Wars, that's like the biggest example, with the woke stuff and bad writing, has kind of tarnished its legacy. But movies do pretty well in theaters for the most part, despite them being pretty liberal and pretty woke and in your face about politics or some type of racial identity or sexual identity. They do okay. TV shows, they do not do well at all. TV shows have pretty much all flopped. I cannot think of one TV show that has been better off because of the woke or gay political agendas that they throw at you. I'll give you a perfect example. The Boys is a fantastic, amazing show, written by very liberal people. And for the most part, the show is great. It is awesome. But they decided to make Frenchie gay, and they destroyed his character in the show, and it's just he is just not the same Frenchie that we know and love. And in my opinion, I believe that The Boys try to push politics down your throat, or racial and sexual identity down your throat, and by doing this, they made the show worse. Now, the show was still really good, but in that aspect, they made the show worse. They took a lot of people's favorite character and they threw him in the fucking garbage. They completely changed him from what they initially wrote him as. So that is not good. But The Boys is still very popular because it doesn't most of the time push political shit down your throat. However, I would go as far as to say that The Boys probably did lose at least a decent amount of viewers after the whole Frenchie stuff, and people definitely felt a lot different about The Boys series moving forward. Also, I will note this, that while The Boys does get woke in like I think it's season 3 or season 4, it took a very long time to get gay. So they already got you invested in the show. So whether it's successful or not in later seasons, it kind of is like, it kind of skews it a little bit, because people are already invested enough in the show and it was really good at first, that I think people are going to kind of write off all of the gay stuff and kind of keep pushing forward to the show because it is reaching an interesting climax. The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us show. The Last of Us show, season 1 was pretty good. People really like season 1. Season 2 got a lot more woke and it fucking destroyed it. I doubt they're going to get picked up for season 3. And if they do get picked up for season 3, there's no possible way they get picked up for season 4, right? The show nosedive. The second season 2 started and they basically got really woke and really gay, and people basically stopped liking the series, right? Myself included. Okay. And then we talked about Stranger Things, how they ruined the IP. They ruined the Star Wars IP. And then all of the Marvel stuff, how they push, strong female characters and strong female leads and all of this stuff down your throat. It is for the most part, shows are way worse off when they add DEI or woke policies into their shows. And in video games, it is overwhelmingly a terrible idea to add woke stuff into your games. And we have seen games constantly fail because they are trying to appeal to a modern audience with their woke agendas. So, my overall conclusion, and thank you guys for watching this far, because I know this was a really long, I think one of my longest videos, honestly. But my overall conclusion is there is almost no reason to ever put woke stuff in your video game or your TV show. And there is an argument to make a movie and put woke stuff in there. And here's what I'm going to say as a final note, because I want to be as fair as possible. You can make, as someone that is a writer, I've been writing a book for a while. It's not out yet, but I'm very proud of the book that I have been writing. You can, by all means, make a game or a movie or a TV show or whatever project that you want, and you can put as many gay, trans, non-binary, racially sensitive characters in your project. But if you release it to the public, you owe the people that are invested into the project and the product, you owe it to them to either make your money back to your investors, or to the people that play or consume the project or the product, you owe it to them to make it good, right? And if you want to write a story where it just is your story, that is completely fine. If you want to take the cash out, that is completely fine. But you cannot complain about how this product is received from the people that consume it. And people have every right to shit on your product and completely obliterate it. And it might suck for you, but if your whole goal is to just feel fulfillment from making something and calling it your own and turning nothing, a blank piece of paper, into a story, and you're proud of that, that is by all means exactly what you should do, because you have that creative liberty to do that. And if the book that I write is perceived as terrible, then it is my fault for making it bad. Now, I'm going to be happy with it either way because I am telling the story that I want to tell. But if I'm going to put it out for the public and I want people to buy it, I want people to like it, I want people to enjoy it. And if they don't enjoy it, they have every right to not enjoy it. So my overall philosophy is woke shit is killing everything, pretty much everything that it touches, except for a few things. And if you want to create a woke product, it is your right to do so, but you cannot be upset about how other people perceive it. And if most things are overwhelmingly negative regarding your product, it's probably pretty bad, and it probably should stay far away from whatever project you are trying to push it into. So with that being said, subscribe to the channel. I think I have like 195 subs or something like that at the time of me making this video. And yeah. Yeah, I mean, the cat's out of the bag. I'm anti-woke, guys. I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and enjoy.